Kia ora koutou whānau, ko Korero ahau. Today I'm here with my good friend Ivan Miller. Kia ora, Ivan.
Kia ora.
So can you tell us, Ivan, a little about who you are in your kaupapa?
My name's Ivan. At the end of last year I decided to walk around New Zealand, not top to bottom, but all the way around, both sides, Stewart Island as well.
Wow.
Promoting mental health awareness, telling my story about my journey through mental illness and my recovery, testifying to the fact that you can be in a really, really bad place for years on end, seemingly a groundhog day, and that it's not necessarily over, that there's still a hope that you can get beyond that and recover to a point where you're actually even better than you were before you got sick.
How did you get to that point though? Like, from one day you're Ivan, the next day you're going to do a Hikoi. What happened? What was the switch?
At the end of last year, I lost my job up in Kerikeri. It was disestablished, and around the same time I was talking to one of my previous workmates. I was his boss, and I just opened up to him and I told him my story of where I'd come from. I'd been a drug addict at one point. I'd been in the mental health system. I'd been in a mental hospital. I'd been through the whole rigmarole of endless medications and so on, and through different more holistic therapies and that, I came out at the other side. And it opened up a real dialogue, and I realised at that point that I wasn't ashamed of my past. I wasn't ashamed of the sexual abuse, things that sort of precipitated the mental illness, and thought, well, I've got a really powerful story here that I can share with people, and a testimony that can maybe give them hope that things can get better for them, and maybe for people that have no understanding of mental illness or no experience of it, just to give them a little bit of insight too.
Well, we've actually spent quite a bit of time today, me and Ivan today, shared toasties and whatnot. So we did speak before about when we first started talking about how someone who starts this sort of journey is an empath as such. They feel a lot of empathy, and that whatever they went through themselves, what does create the urge, or part of the urge, is wanting other people to know that there is a way through the darkness, and that to give them a voice, because we no longer want other people to think that they have to repress their emotions, or they can't be who they want to be anymore. So this as such is your homage to others.
Yes.
So where did you start?
I started at Cape Reinga on February the 9th this year, so I've just recently passed my 6-month milestone.
And we're now in
Timaru. So I've done about 2,030 kilometres. I hit my 2,000k mark about 3 days ago.
That's amazing. And
heading into a southern winter, although we're coming up to spring now. I've been pretty lucky so far.
What have you thought of the winter so far?
Beautiful.
It's amazing, right?
Beautiful. Winter is something that I dread every year in my normal life. And this walk has enabled me to actually see the beauty of winter and the positive things about it. And I take photos every day that I walk, searching for that beauty, and it doesn't matter. It can be the rainiest day, it could be snowing, it could be windy. There's always something beautiful there if you look for it. And the more you look for it, the more you see it, and the more you see it, the more you look for it.
Can you just tell people quickly where they can find these photos?
I have a page on Facebook called Walking for Life. There's a scraggy looking old hippie on the front page. His beard's not quite as long as this, but going full Forrest Gump.
Man. And it's cranking, buddy. It's cranking.
It keeps me warm.
And one thing that you will see on the photos, especially from the captions, is that for a lot of them, you're really captivated by what you're seeing. Every day you're captivated by the scenery and what's around you.
Yeah, I'm blown away. I turned 50 2 weeks ago, and I read somewhere that if you haven't grown up by the time you're 50, you don't have to. Well, I'm not growing up anymore. I'm growing down, and not in a depressed way, but I'm going backwards.
I love that, growing down.
Yeah, man.
That is awesome, brother. I mean, we've spoken about it before. Like when life is down and we are in that dark place and we're going through really bad times, we don't see life up to 50. We see life almost ending at 50 because we're almost content with it. But now you're looking at life through a never-ending lens.
Yeah.
Your whole perspective and your kaupapa and has changed.
I want to live my life for the rest of my life.
It's been an amazing journey, and you've met some amazing people. And we were talking before about how the generosity of a lot of people and how many people have helped you. That strangers.
Lots of strangers have reached out to me on my way down, following me on my page, and they, I let people know where I am every day or where I'm walking to, and I'll get a message saying, "Hey, we live here in Taranaki or wherever it may be, and we'd like to offer you a meal, or we'd like to put you up for the night, or we can move your pack ahead for you," things like that, and
crazy.
More often than not, the people that have given the most are the people that have the least to give, and it's that empathy thing again. They know where I've come from, and we relate to each other.
This really does. This has no religious, no cultural inhibition. I mean, with nothing's holding back anyone from helping as well. And so for you to get to Stewart Island, you had a very generous offer, right? And where did this offer come from?
The United States of America. So from someone that's been a Facebook friend of mine for some years. I think we met on some music page.
Yeah.
But he's been following my journey, and there's a connection there he relates to, and so he wants to do his bit to support me as well and make sure that I get to see all of Aotearoa, not just the two islands.
That's it, brother. Because mental health, suicide, depression, and a lot of mental health issues aren't specific to any one type.
No.
At all.
All one geographical place. It's a nationwide issue.
It is.
It doesn't discriminate between anybody, and that's I've had to learn a lot on my way about judgments that I make myself or have made in the past, and really open myself up to be inclusive of all walks of life, whether that's my walk or not, because at the end of the day we're all people and we're all connected through some thread.
So where do you think, how do you think you've grown so far? Because we're talking about spiritual growth as well, and about how much you've changed by doing things like this. I was talking about how I was running. I did an event, and then I was running for 2 days with a guy, and then he took off. And it wasn't the fact that I was afraid of getting lost. I was afraid of getting lonely.
It's funny. On the fourth day of my walk, and I'd run into another walker on 90 Mile Beach, and we crossed the Aotearoa forest track in Northland, which is the two highest peaks. And both of us in our very early stages, but completely blown away by this whole experience and what was happening to us spiritually. And we were having a big, deep and meaningful one night, and he said, "Doesn't this make you feel sad sometimes?" And I hadn't experienced sadness to that point. I was so excited. And I said, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, you meet these people, you make these beautiful connections, and then you've got to keep going." And 6 months down the track, I understand that sometimes I feel like everybody's static on this world, and I'm the only thing that keeps spinning. And I meet these beautiful people, but I can't take them with me. But I'm taking everybody with me that I meet. And when I leave someone beautiful behind, I'm going to some new adventure, and someone else special is going to come into my life.
So we're collecting.
I've said to everybody that's been involved on my walk on the way down, I invite them next year to cross the finish line with me, walk across the finish line. They've been a part of my walk. Walk across the finish line with me at Cape Reinga. We're going to have one huge party.
This is going to be a monumental event for the communities, and or more so for yourself, right? because like you were saying, you started in, was it February?
Yeah.
And you plan to finish?
Probably about this time next year, I'd say. I think I'm about a third of the way through at 2,000 Ks. I don't know exactly because I plot my course 2 or 3 days in advance, and sometimes I divert off the course and go off the main highway and go into some of these smaller communities, and so that's my estimate at this stage.
No, that's amazing. It's for a lot of people couldn't even fathom doing this, right? Even your own family, like, they kind of question your sanity a little bit, yeah?
I get that a lot, and I say, well, you know, they say you're mental. I say, yeah, I am mental. I'm just not mentally ill anymore.
Yeah, wow, I love that, man. This is awesome. Oh, wow. And this is, I mean, you're talking before about different therapies between going to see psychologists and counsellors and going into institutions or drugs and other types of therapy. How has this fared compared to a lot of other therapies that you've been through as far as growth, self-discovery, self-worth?
It's amazing because the space around me, the environment, I mean, the beautiful environment is all of that, but you know, you can go on a road trip and you can see all these beautiful things and you see the mountains and that, but you're still enclosed in a space within that space.
Yeah.
I'm out there in the open, and I just let my mind go wherever it needs to take me for that day, and it does. And it's incredible. Just when you think your heart's bursting and it can't get any fuller, you find you've got even more capacity for love and.
That's fantastic. Well, I was talking to Ivan before about how with Bamboo Projects and the Big Three, we like to use outdoor therapy as a way of connecting people to who they are, and because the outdoor therapy is a great type of therapy that's available not for 1 hour session within 4 walls, but it's a forever session with no walls.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a really important tool.
Yeah.
And you know, we all have connections in our life. I've made all these other special connections, but I've never felt so connected with the land and the environment as well. And our environment is a tool that doesn't cost money. It doesn't need to have an appointment. And part of the beauty of my trip is that I'm experiencing all of the seasons. Twice, some of them. And so I get the bad weather, and I get the cold, and I get the discomfort, and I get the heat. It was a heat wave on 90 Mile Beach that had come across from Australia in my very first week. So I get all these challenges thrown at me, and I like to share those challenges. Every day when I do the walk, I tell people what roadblocks come up or what discomforts and how I sort of negotiate myself around them and
I'll tell you,
looking for that.
One Crowded House song comes to mind, right? 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Well, lucky it's not Better Be Home Soon, because I've got a while to go yet.
So can you give me any advice, you have over 1,000 followers now, people following you, dedicated, committed people from all over the world now. Is there any advice you can give to them for anybody who may be going through a dark time or anything like that, especially with what you've gone through and what you've experienced? What would be if they do notice someone who is going through some mental distress or duress, is there anything that you can suggest that they do?
It's really hard. You know, I'm not a doctor or a psychologist, or I don't have any training other than my own life training. So I can only tell people what's helped me. But I think really the most important thing is just be there and be available to listen, and you might not always know the right things to say, but just being there is a good start, and listening without judgment, without judgment,
letting go of biases, prejudices,
judgments,
and any thoughts, just let them go. To let that person talk and just listen. The freedom. Anyway, so we will have to knock it on the head there. But so for anyone that's following you and anyone that can help you during your journey, because this is all self-funded. You're not government funded. Just quietly. So is there any way that people can support your kaupapa and kaupapa?
Well, on my page I post a link every every day or every day or two, which directs people if they want to. Because I'm fundraising for the Mental Health Foundation of New Zealand, so if they want to make a donation directly towards that cause, that's all well and good. If they can help me in any other way, just send me a private message and I can give them details of how they can help, whether that be pack support, getting my pack ahead of me, or a meal, a place to stay.
Cool.
Just message me on my page.
So koha as a way of donation can be, so Ivan has to walk with his pack every day, but if someone is able to pick up your pack and take it ahead, that means you can walk even further without that burden of weight.
Yeah, I can do it. I'm not a young man anymore, but I can walk 20 kilometres with my pack. My pack's about 20 to 25 kilos at the moment, which is more than a third of my body weight. So it takes its toll on the hips and my feet and my legs and my back. But on those days when someone takes my pack ahead of me to my next destination that I'm walking to, I've walked 45 kilometres no problem. I think I can probably push that to 60.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy distances.
I told you I'm
Yeah, he is, man. Just not illness. So far we are in Timaru, and it's nearly at the bottom of the South Island, and then Ivan will be going from the East Coast through the Chatham Islands, Stewart Island.
Yeah, Stewart Island.
And then coming back?
Coming back up through Queenstown at this point, and then heading towards the West Coast.
Yeah.
And Haast and up the West Coast. When I cross the strait, then I will finish on the East Coast, because I've done the West Coast of the North Island so far. The East Coast is going to be my longest leg of sort of.
Because it's a couple of thousand
It's over a couple of thousand.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So if possible, look at Walking for Life and see where you can find on a map where Ivan is, and then see if you can either give him some support as far as help him with his pack, some koha with some kai, some food. And if you have any monetary donation, either for Ivan or the Mental Health Foundation, because they're both two great causes that also or both need assistance for the great mahi that you're doing. So Ivan, I want to say thank you so much. I have had the most joyous day having to talk with you, brother. It's been and we're going to collaborate next year, and I'm so looking forward to it. It's going to be amazing. For all those other people out there, they're going to be joining us as well. So Jamie and John, Wātaki team.
Jamie,
yeah,
John.
Boys. This will be a really fun time. I want to thank you, brother, for your time and listening to what I have to say, and taking the time to talk to me and sharing a chai latte.
Awesome, man.
Awesome, brother. All the best, bro. Peace, guys.